Hello True Believer, and welcome back to your fourth and final Criterion D for your Scratch game. As always, we have the 4 columns, so 1 to 2 would be this rating, 3 to 4 in here, 5 to 6 would be in this, and then 7 to 8 would be in this. So again, we'll focus on this last column up here. So strand 1, describe detailed and relevant testing methods that are explained clearly, and will generate accurate data which will correctly measure the success of the game via the use of surveys and self-reflections. So you're going to make a series of surveys and a series of tests that you're going to produce on your game, and that's going to get you all the data that we need to analyze. Strand 2 is basically analyzing that, so the success of the game is explained using the data from authentic testing. So you go through and you review all the data that you found. Then strand 3, improvements of the game are described. Now if you're smart with your survey, you basically will be asking for any improvements off your peers, and then hopefully you can list here and describe what needs to be added. And then the 4th and final strand is write a letter to your direct supervisor extensively describing the impact of your game on the target audience and why it will assist the company's profitability. So you need to detail back to all this data that you found and then summarize it to say whether or not it was a success or not. So some hints for Criterion D. Create a survey to ask at least 3 other classmates about their opinion of the game. Make sure you include a mixture of open and closed questions. Use either a Word document or a SurveyMonkey to gather your data. SurveyMonkey is very useful because you can just send the direct link to everyone, but the Word document works just as well. Number 3, create a basic table testing table. The table has to be used is the same as what we use in industry, plus it's organized and easy to understand when compared to reading paragraphs and paragraphs of writing. So something like this. So you have the test description, so when the player clicks the mouse or spacebar, a banana will shoot out from the monkey's hand in the direction that it's pointing. The expected result of a single banana is shot out from the monkey's hand straight across the screen in the direction the monkey's facing, and then the actual result was it was a pass. Whereas with this test 2, an angry bird will disappear from view, and an explosion plus image noise will show on the screen for 1 second once the player hit the bird 3 times. After 3 banana shots to the angry bird, the bird will disappear and exploding noise, plus the image will be seen on screen for 1 second. So this is what should happen after the test has been performed. This is failed, so the bird disappeared only after 1 banana hits it, and the explosion noise plus image works, but it is only visible for 2 seconds. So see how it clearly describes what happens. Now this is important in the industry because the programmers need to have testers that go through and find all this data to help the program become more accurate. The data from the testing is the actual result in the columns above. From this column, you'll be able to determine whether your game has been successful. Okay, so for example, you might like to point out to the part of your game was successful, maybe the way it looked and the shooting part, but overall the game failed since it did not include the mathematical learning component. Okay, so you need to have a very clear sort of image from here whether or not it passed or failed, or whether it was success or not. Make sure you then analyze the data you've collected in both the surveys and self-tests, as we just described. Clearly list improvements that you want to build into your game. If you're smart, you'll ask this question in your survey to get people's opinions that you could be added to your game. When you've published your game online, look for feedback from other students to give them to your game. And then write your letter as honest as you can to your direct supervisor. Make sure it's very clear if the project has been a success or not, and then back it up with the data that you've collected in the previous strands. Try and make your letter as inspiring as possible. The structure does matter. Remember, this is a professional document and you are talking to your boss. So you're trying to sell this idea of your game, whether or not it was a success or not. The basic template for when you're building Criterion D should look something like this. So relevant testing methods and describes detailed and relevant testing methods which generate accurate data to measure the success of the solution. So this will be your survey. So you need to include the survey questions and the data that you've collected. Don't just include a link to SurveyMonkey or say that the data was this. Give me the exact raw data that you collected. So something like this with the tables as well. Describe how the solution could be improved, and then describe the impact of the solution on the client and the target inside of that letter to your direct boss. Okay. If the test pass or fail, there's no need to write the result, just say pass. If the fail, you need to describe what the error was and the possible solutions as outlined. Okay. So that basically wraps up everything. Any questions, please feel free to ask your teacher, so either me, Mr. O'Brien, or Mr. Jones. We're here to help, and we hopefully will be playing a game really soon, and we're really looking forward to seeing what you guys can achieve. Okay, so good luck with it all, and like we said, all the best.